Thank you. I'm in Washington today to meet with my economic team about trade policy and major tax cuts and reform. We are renegotiating trade deals and making them good for the American worker, and it's about time. Our economy is now strong. The stock market continues to hit record highs. Unemployment is at a 16-year low, and businesses are more optimistic than ever before. Companies are moving back to the United States and bringing many thousands of jobs with them. We have already created over 1 million jobs since I took office. We will be discussing economic issues in greater detail later this afternoon. But based on the events that took place over the weekend in Charlottesville, Virginia, I would like to provide the nation with an update on the ongoing federal response to the horrific attack and violence that was witnessed by everyone. I just met with FBI Director Christopher Wray and Attorney General Jeff Sessions. The Department of Justice has opened a civil rights investigation into the deadly car attack that killed one innocent American and wounded 20 others. To anyone who acted criminally in this weekend's racist violence, you will be held fully accountable. Justice will be delivered. As I said on Saturday, we condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence. It has no place in America. And as I have said many times before, no matter the color of our skin, we all live under the same laws. We all salute the same great flag. And we are all made by the same Almighty God. We must love each other, show affection for each other, and unite together in condemnation of hatred, bigotry, and violence. We must rediscover the bonds of love and loyalty that bring us together as Americans. Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups that are repugnant to everything we hold dear as Americans. We are a nation founded on the truth that all of us are created equal. We are equal in the eyes of our Creator. We are equal under the law, and we are equal under our Constitution. Those who spread violence in the name of bigotry strike at the very core of America. 2 days ago, a young American woman, Heather Heyer, was tragically killed. Her death fills us with grief, and we send her family our thoughts, our prayers, and our love. We also mourn the 2 Virginia state troopers who died in service to their community, their Commonwealth, and their country. Troopers Jay Cullen and Burke Bates exemplify the very best of America, and our hearts go out to their families, their friends, and every member of American law enforcement. These 3 fallen Americans embody the goodness and decency of our nation. In times such as these, America has always shown its true character, responding to hate with love, division with unity, and violence with an unwavering resolve for justice. As a candidate, I promise to restore law and order to our country, and our federal law enforcement agencies are following through on that pledge. We will spare no resource in fighting so that every American child can grow up free from violence and fear. We will defend and protect the sacred rights of all Americans, and we will work together so that every citizen in this blessed land is free to follow their dreams in their hearts and to express the love and joy in their souls. Thank you. God bless you. and God bless America. Thank you very much.
In 3, 2.
Hello, this is Steve Lookner with Right Side Broadcasting. That was President Trump with an unannounced statement. We did not know that was going to happen. All of a sudden, we just heard that he was going to make a statement from the White House, and he came on, and the real big news there of that statement is the president did what a number of critics were wanting him to do last couple of days, and he's been getting a bunch of criticism about it from some people, which is specifically call out and criticize and condemn neo-Nazis, the KKK, and white supremacists. In his initial speech about Charlottesville the day of the event, he did condemn the violence that was going on and said many sides were responsible, but a lot of people were very unhappy. He didn't specifically talk about white nationalists, white supremacists, KKK, neo-Nazis. He specifically said that today. I don't know if that was the sole purpose today, but it very well might have been the sole purpose of that statement today, just to say that and answer the critics who had said he hadn't said such a thing yet. I'd love to hear what you think about this. This is Right Side Broadcasting. What do you think about the president's statement? Let me know. I really would like to hear what you guys think about it. Write to me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. I'll read your comment on the air. Do you like that the president made that statement? Is there anything you didn't like about it? Would you like to hear him say something different? So let me know. Let me know. So I'm already getting some messages here. Miss Prim says, yet won't call out Soros, Antifa, BLM? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Hashtag cucked. That's from Miss Prim. Chad writes in, now President Trump will get blamed for waiting so long to be specific, and they will continue saying he was the root cause of the violence. Syntax Error writes in, now let's call out the bigotry of the far left anti-fascists. And let's see here. I'm just making sure I got all your messages. So again, this is the post coverage of the president's unannounced statement. He had said on Friday or Saturday he was going to, maybe Saturday, he was going to have a press conference today. That has not been scheduled. I was kind of surprised because when his schedule came out very late last night, a number of reporters were tweeting out, interestingly, the press conference isn't on the schedule, and we hadn't heard anything conclusive either way. And just a few minutes ago, we suddenly heard, great credit to Joe for first hearing about this and getting this on the air very fast, that he was making a statement, and he made this statement where he specifically criticized and condemned KKK, neo-Nazis, and white supremacists. And a couple of you have written in so far and say that you would have liked him to have, some of you, and I'm not saying this is all of you, but a couple of you have written in and said that you would have liked him to specifically called out, say, Antifa as well, and other left militant groups. So I'd like to hear what you think about all this statement that we didn't know was coming. Whatever you think about it, happy to read your comment on the air as long as it's clean. Give me a shout at Lookner on Twitter at Lookner, and you can email me at the address below. Also, if you like having a place besides the mainstream media to go for your news coverage, for example, we were on for 9 hours covering Charlottesville on Saturday. So if you like having and giving you different things that I don't think the mainstream media gave you, if you like having an alternative, please consider donating, because we rely on your donations to stay on the air. We can't stay on the air without your support. So if you want to donate, go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate, or you can go in the YouTube chat room and click on the $ at the bottom of the chat room and donate that way. And somebody already did that, and that was Jojo the dog face boy, gave $2 and said, what next? So thank you, Jojo. Let me get some more of your messages. I see a bunch of you are writing me in. Let me know what you think. Write me in at Lookner on Twitter. Juliet Germanato writes in, Trump is for bigotry. Kick him out. Let the transgenders vets kick his punk butt. Now I can't tell. I can't tell if this is. I honestly can't tell if this is supposed to be sarcastic or not. So Juliet, feel free to write me back and clarify if you'd like. Wisconsin Trump Girl says his speech was okay, but he needed to name Antifa and the left hate groups. That's from Wisconsin Trump Girl. Basas Say What says, We have to force media to acknowledge Antifa incites violence. We have to bombard media with the question, do you disavow Antifa for inciting violence? Richard Powers says, why didn't anyone complain when Obama wouldn't call out the radical Islamists? Joey MP says, how many times does he have to condemn these groups? He's done it dozens of times over the years. Miss Apropos says he should have called out Antifa and BLM also. By the way, also, thank you, Webster, for letting me know, or Jude let me know. Jerry OOG gave $10 as a donation as well. Thank you, Jerry OOG. We really appreciate it. Let me get some more of your messages here. Joanne Goldsnyder says, so many in the chat, talking about the YouTube chat, are upset with the president. I think he did a good job. That's from Joanne Goldsnyder. Okay, Juliet Germanata says, I gave 8 years in the Navy I am a transgender. He wants to kick us out. Also, he wants to take away health care for people with, he is a bigot. That's from Juliet Germanata. Let me know what you think about the president's speech. Write to me at @Lookner on Twitter. Let's see here. Pork Mohammed says, Trump threw his base under the bus for peacefully assembling, sided with Antifa when they initiated all the violence. Ella Bell Wilson says, pisses me off. He didn't comment that Antifa and BLM both promote white and police hate. There are other hate groups besides white. So a number of you seem to be very angry at the president's statement because you say that he should have called out groups on the left, such as you're saying Antifa and BLM, who you think do some of the same things as the violent groups as the groups did that on the right on Saturday. And I think you're specifically saying they promote violence, but feel free to clarify. Sharin says, hope you guys turn over films you had of the group of thugs that chased a guy off by ganging up on him. TNT Fox says, he did not denounce white nationalists, oh my God, racist, in parentheses, sarcasm. Hank Hill says, I think he will call out BLM and Antifa after the FBI investigates, and he has solid proof that they were instigators. Pizza Beer Me and Pop says, while not condemning Antifa, he should have called out the Antifa terrorist organization as they are true fascists using RICO violence. Darth Tormonis writes, Trump is playing into these people's hands. They are leading him like a lamb to the slaughter. Sharon writes, BLM should have been listed as well by him. Amy writes, very annoyed that the violence initiated by Antifa and BLM, etc. was not called out. Fed up with the right kowtowing to the left. Let's keep reading your comments. Let me know what you think about President Trump's statement today @Lookner on Twitter, @Lookner. Devontae Buford says, as a mixed race supporter, I don't know what was wrong with his previous statement. This won't shut up dumb critics. Hope I'm wrong. Magaland says, Trump gains nothing by condemning Antifa except for rallying his base. This statement is a big win for him in the eyes of mainstream media, Democrats, etc. And something, Magaland, your comment made me think of is President Trump has a big legislative August and September, especially September coming up. In September, the debt ceiling needs to be raised. A new budget needs to be passed of some sort to keep the government funded. And President Trump wants to supposedly move on tax reform and infrastructure and perhaps healthcare again. Is there any possibility that this statement today was designed to make that legislative process easier and not alienate certain legislators? I don't know. I'm just speculating. I'm just wondering because it comes right before, after his vacation, Congress, and after Congress's recess, they're going to come back and work on all of this stuff. So just a thought I had. Teresa writes, I am so pissed. Real Donald Trump can go F himself after that statement. And I believe Teresa is a supporter of President Trump, or has been. J.R. Smith says, why didn't he call out Antifa /Soros /BLM? He caved. I have to say, folks, I've been on the air since President Trump has been in office covering various things he has done and covering all the big Trump news. I have never seen such a negative reaction to something he has done by people who I know are on the right side of things. I don't mean right like morally right. I mean people who lean conservative / right to the right politically. I have never seen this kind of anger directed at something he did. So I'm just pointing that out. TNT Fox says he said other sides. He didn't mention BLM and Antifa members who showed up to cause trouble. Winfred Weston V says Trump felt he had no choice politically, but ultimately it was a mistake. The swamp is rising again. Let's see here. I'm going to keep reading your comments here. If you have comments about what President Trump said today, I would love to hear what you have to say. Write to me on Twitter @Lookner or email me at the address below. Also, thank you to the moderators in the YouTube chat for working hard moderating this chat. And if you want to know when we come on the air with future videos, we do a lot of breaking news coverage. But if you to know when we're going to come on with videos, subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell when you do. That way you'll get notified about all our videos. Also, we post on Facebook too, so like and follow us on Facebook. And feel free to share this video on Facebook and like it on YouTube. That lets other people know about the video. Cheryl Price Regier says he should condemn Antifa. Let's see, I'm going to get to more of your comments here. Norway for Trump says, today's statement from President Trump was in good Republican tradition. The Republican Party has throughout its history rooted out slavery, racism, and made civil rights laws. And at every turn, the Democratic Party tried to enslave, oppress, and keep the black population down. Today, the black population is kept in inner city voter slave plantations. Another thing Trump has a plan to root out with the help of Ben Carson. Incidentally, Hutch Bailey and I are doing a show tonight on the Nazi ties to the Democratic Party at 8 p.m. ET on Cold War Radio on Spreaker. Racism is evil, and the Democratic Party has throughout history been a driver for this evil MAGA. That is from a longtime viewer, Norway. Thanks, Norway, for writing in. Megan M. says, why did he even bother giving a statement? The mainstream media and all of the left will never be satisfied. There is literally nothing he could do that would make them happy. Thank you, Megan M. A couple of you have written in with this thought. You're saying you're upset because you feel, the president did what a number of critics were asking in that he called out specifically white supremacists, neo-Nazis, and the KKK, but you think that's not going to satisfy the critics. They just don't like him, and they'll say something like, well, it took him so long, or they'll find something else to complain about. So some of you think that it didn't help him much today to do what he did with his critics. Joanne Goldsnyder said if he called them out, I think you mean like Antifa and groups like that, there would be more violence. He said all hate groups, people need to take a chill pill. That's from Joanne. Let's see. Basas Say What says, please pin this Antifa flyer so people can bombard everyone in media so they know we are paying attention. They have to disavow Antifa or admit their faux outrage. There's a flyer here. I'm not sure. I haven't seen this flyer before, so I'm not going to just show it and say it's an Antifa flyer. I'll have to do some more research on it. But thanks for sending that in, Basas Say What. Matt Mangrum writes in, it's a win-win for Trump. He made the statement so the left will either drop it as they should, or the left will continue to push this asinine narrative. If they continue to push it, they will only hurt themselves and continue the decline of the mainstream media. Trump comes out looking clean either way. It's an interesting point you make, Matt, and what I'm thinking is, if President Trump was making this statement to, just put the issue behind him, that's a reason for him, that could be a reason for him not even to want to mention Antifa and BLM. Because if he said, I call out white supremacists, neo-Nazis, and the KKK, and also he mentions Antifa and BLM, then critics might say, oh, he didn't really specifically call out the right. And I can pretty much guarantee you there would be critics who would say he's equating BLM and Antifa and neo-Nazis. Now, and I'm guessing even if he used language that was different, even if he first said, we totally condemn BLM white supremacists and neo-Nazis, but also I disapprove of any group that was responsible for the violence. For example, Antifa. Even if he separated the two, there would be people, I guarantee you, who just say he equated Antifa and Nazis or whatever, neo-Nazis. And so he might, it's possible that if he was doing what you're saying, Matt, and trying to just end the issue as an issue, he didn't want to bring up Antifa and BLM just because maybe that wouldn't end the issue. I don't know. I'm just speculating. Write to me. Let me know what you think about President Trump's statement today. I am on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. Also, this is Right Side Broadcasting. We are viewer supported. I don't think the mainstream media is reading your comments on the air today, but we are, because we always do. We want to hear what you have to say, no matter what it is, as long as it's clean. But if you like our coverage, please consider making a donation. We are viewer supported. Your donations keep us on the air. If you'd like to donate, go to rsbn.tv/donate. rsbn.tv/donate. Or in the YouTube chat room next to the broadcast, click on the $ at the bottom of the chat. Let me get to some more of your comments. Boog Rose says, Steve, so proud Trump, Sessions, and FBI are focusing on the side of justice for this horrible incident that occurred. Thank you, Boog, for writing in. Let's get to some more comments here. Anthony McDonald emailed me. This is our white guilt at its finest. I think he was pressured to an extent to make that statement on the cuff. I think you mean off the cuff. But yeah. So this statement, quite interesting. It happened. It happened. 10 minutes ago. I didn't even hear any word of it at all in advance. And when Joe called me and said the statement's about to happen, and I saw they had the podium there, I looked on my Twitter feed and no reporter, even like I follow, White House press pool people, it seemed like there was no heads up, like no one knew this statement was going to happen. I'd heard nothing about it, and it seemed like basically no one had heard anything about it, which is really interesting because that usually does not happen. Let's see. Ella Bell Wilson says, I've been a huge Trump supporter, but this is uncool. Looks like he's weakening towards lib agenda. It's angering us conservs now. NY Mike 2S says, that was for brain damaged libs who didn't understand all, the word all, on Saturday. Victoria Mulligan writes, President Trump should have called out mainstream media, said, here is a list of all hate groups and say them all. Termites writes, how about taking down Antifa and BLM websites? Anonymous lost credibility. Oh, sorry. This was a response to a post I had about the anonymous hacker group taking down the neo-Nazi site, the Daily Stormer. I'm sorry. Let's see. Drama Punch says, I liked his statement even though it was weak. I think he plans on letting Jeff Sessions call out BLM and Antifa. It's Sessions' job. So some of you are saying maybe he'll call them out later, or maybe somebody else will call them out in the administration. Sharin writes, Sharin says, you're a fantastic person, Steve, and we the people thank you for all your hard work you do in RSBN. Thank you, Sharin, for saying that. Ella Bell Wilson says, I'm a Republican and I am very pissed that Trump has submitted to add to liberal and rhino pressure. All hate groups should have been mentioned. Me Z writes, yeah, it is just too much to think that the Dems should know that condemning all violence automatically includes them. They're too stupid. Nicholas writes, Steve, I didn't watch the full speech, but I've heard MSNBC has called Trump a racist this morning. Yes, well, I know like Donnie Deutsch on MS A Morning Joe, because I heard some of that, he did call him a racist. Sam C. Moore says, I'm deeply disappointed in Trump. Unite the Right had all legal rights to be there. Antifa and city government 100% culpable for the violence. Ella Bell Wilson says, Antifa and BLM were both there causing trouble. Both groups were on the videos getting in white faces. I saw it in the video. I saw it on the videos. Pork Mohammed says, looks like Challenger impact may have been caused by stuck accelerator. I don't know anything about this. I haven't heard anything about that. But what I do know is we haven't heard from the authorities for sure what the cause of that accident was. I personally am just waiting till we hear from the authorities when they're done investigating. Proud American says, CNN is still lying about what the president said. They said he waited until today to condemn the hate groups. DMA writes, but the left media will never be satisfied, as you can see. Termites says, the protesters did nothing. It was peaceful. The protesters did nothing. It was peaceful. I watched Periscope. It was Antifa BLM taking down a veteran statue, ? Full Armor says, I think Trump said everything he needed to say, and the left will never think he has said enough. Teresa said, really, Lookner? You just said the white people caused violence on Saturday? I don't know what you're referring to. All I've said on Twitter and on the broadcast is that I've seen videos of both sides engaging with violence with each other. So I never said specifically one side. I've always said that it seemed to me, at least from what I saw, that that we had multiple sides taking parts in violence. That's the only thing I said. Tommy Deplorable said, this shouldn't be breaking. It was never a question by those who see. Teresa says, if Donald Trump doesn't call out Antifa/BLM for violence/hate, then I'm going to become racist. I'm sick of being attacked. Okay, I'm going to get to some more of your comments. If you would like to write in, we are reading your comments. We're hearing what you have to say about the president's speech today. The president gave an impromptu, it was an unannounced speech. No one knew he was going to make it, at least no one except in his inner circle, maybe. And he specifically called out neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and I'm leaving one off. I can't remember. What was the third one? I'm going to look it up here. Neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and the KKK. And he also called out all groups that caused violence on Saturday and all hate groups. But he didn't specifically name any groups from the left. Some of you wish he had named, you're saying Antifa or BLM that you think should be named. And we're getting your feedback on it. So give me a shout at Lookner on Twitter. Let me know what you think. I'll read your comment on the air. We're hearing a bunch of different reaction. A number of you are very upset with what President Trump said, but we've heard from some of you who support what he said as well. This is a message from Barry Gipp. Barry writes, Steve, very little has been said about how and who started the violence. One side says white supremacists came to instigate violence. Other reports say they were legally there protesting the statue of Robert E. Lee being taken down, and then BLM and Antifa showed up and started the violence. I heard one report that BLM and Antifa showed up with coolers filled with water balloons, filled with urine, feces, and chemicals. When they started the violence, the police were under orders to stand down and let it happen, then forced the original protesters to leave by going right through BLM. If the original protesters were peacefully, lawfully protesting, no matter what they were saying, no matter if you agree with them or not, they have the right to peacefully say it. Very confused by all the different reports. Barry Smithsburg, Maryland. Thank you, Barry, for writing in. Tommy Dalton sent me a tweet and says this firm was running ads in Virginia a week prior, and the tweet is a crowds on demand hiring actors and protesters for $25. I can't speak to the veracity of that tweet. I'm just telling you what Tommy Dalton sent me. Thanks, Tommy, for writing in. Norway for Trump says, Joanne Goldschneider is totally right. Everybody needs to take a chill pill. United we stand, divided we fall. Kerensky writes in, Steve, your live reports are excellent, but I have a technical issue. Comments don't post, super chats fail. Who can look into this? I'm not aware of this issue. I'll pass it along. So I'll let people know here. I wasn't aware that the super chats were failing or people couldn't post. If you do have trouble with the YouTube stream, sometimes it helps to refresh it. I will say that. Ronnie Mercer writes in, Katie Couric is a prime example of biased mainstream media. She tweeted a photo and claimed the counter-protesters were peaceful. Not true. Billy D writes, the mainstream is saying too late for the real Donald Trump. Predictable. So I guess you mean, Billy, you're watching the mainstream media right now in their post comments. Alex Jones, not the Alex Jones. Well, not the Alex Jones on a network. I don't know if this person's name is Alex Jones. Black Alex Jones, at Black Alex Jones, says, groups of Antifa and BLM kept following Trump supporters and throwing rocks at them. Police were nowhere to be seen. Jimmy McPherson writes, racism in any form should be condemned. The president is right to make a statement, albeit very late. Antifa should be destroyed. Pork Mohammed says, where is the civil rights investigation for Charlottesville in Virginia? UTR, Unite the Right, had permanent and federal injunction, First Amendment violation. Proud American says, no matter what the president does, the media won't be satisfied with it. Joanne Goldsteiner says, Steve, I'm very upset to see so many upset with the president. He did not cave to the left. Those who are upset are the ones caving to the left. This is just what they want. Basa Say What says, I agree with an earlier comment. The blatant, sweeping generalization and blanket statements of the media against conservatives and libertarians as being neo-Nazis has the potential to radicalize individuals who are fed up with the narrative. So I think one thing you're complaining about is you're saying, Basa Say What, that you see some people in the media as saying all the protesters, for example, were neo-Nazis when that was not the case. That's your complaint, one of your complaints. Sam Miller says, unlike Obama, he waited for the DOJ and FBI to confirm who was involved before calling them out. That's what a grown-up does. Sharin says, so obvious protest all staged and planned. FBI will now follow the money on who bust these rabid paid actors north, and governor smells guilty too. That's from Sharin. If you have comments, we're reading your comments about what the president said today, his statement, his surprise statement that no one knew he was going to make. And we're taking your comments on the air. We're reading whatever you have to say. Some of you support the president's statement. Some of you are very upset with it. We want to hear what you have to say. Write to me at Lookner on Twitter, at LOOKNER. Feel free to follow me as well if you like breaking news, because I cover breaking news on my Twitter. And also follow Right Side Broadcasting at RSB Network. Thanks again to the moderators in the chat room for moderating our chat today. I know there's a lot of comments there. And also to remind you, we are viewer supported. We can't stay on the air without your help and your donations. So if you like our coverage and want to see more of it, please consider donating. Even small donations really help us out. You can donate by going to rsbn.tv/donate. rsbn.tv/donate, or just go to the YouTube chat room, go down to the bottom of the chat next to the broadcast. See there's a $sign there. You can click on that $sign and make a donation. Sam Lund writes in, call your enemy a demon enough and he shall become one. The alt-right is only becoming violent because they have no choice anymore. Miss Apropos says, I saw photos of white buses that bust in the Antifa and BLM people. Jason Westgore says, I really wish we could stop calling them and Antifa and Black Lives Matter and call them by their real name, anti-whites. Call them by their real name, Steve, please. They are all anti-white. By the way, if you want to know when we're coming on with future broadcasts, subscribe to us on YouTube, Right Side Broadcasting, and click the notifications bell when you do to get all notifications about Right Side Broadcasting. Also, like and follow us on Facebook, and on Twitter, we're at RSB Network. I'm going to do a quick check here and see. I'm kind of interested in seeing what maybe some media or politician reaction is to President Trump's speech. So if you give me 1 second here, if I can get this going. There we go. All right, that's done. Hold on 1 sec, guys. Let's see if what I can find here. Oh, Billy D just gave $5. Thank you so much, Billy D. We very much appreciate it. I'm just looking around here. This is a tweet from Ann Coulter I'm going to show you. Ann Coulter says, I would have been happy with any criticism of Antifa. CNN still not satisfied with real Donald Trump denunciation of KKK. It will never be enough. That is from Ann Coulter. By the way, if you find any interesting tweets in reaction to President Trump's remarks, feel free to give me a shout on Twitter at Lookner. Also, would love to hear your comments. Let me know what you have to say about President Trump's speech. Peeking around more, trying to get some more reaction here. Italiano for Trump says, no matter what anyone says, Trump is the right president for this time. Hashtag MAGA. Sharin says, when President Trump doesn't say much, enemies of our republic need to really worry. Ella Bell Wilson says, racism towards whites okay now? It is seeming that way. Trying to get you some more reaction here to President Trump's statement, if I can find it. Now, this is a New York Times reporter, Glenn Thrush, who, from what I can see of him, does not like President Trump at all. And he posts, Glenn Thrush, Trump is so loath to issue this statement, he has to lead up to it with a lengthy self-congratulation on the economy. So that is somebody, Glenn Thrush, who's a reporter for the New York Times, who does not like President Trump. And that's what he says about this. So that's an example of someone who is being critical of President Trump in spite of the statement. Here's somebody else on the left who doesn't like President Trump, and he also works for the New York Times, Charles Blow, and he says, this statement by Trump is still offensive and insufficient. I'm done. I've been done. So that, a couple of you said, hey, people on the left aren't going to be satisfied with this statement, and we've already seen a couple people who do not like Trump who are not satisfied. Wisconsin Drum Girl says, I still support Trump 100%. I hope DOJ and FBI get to the bottom of this matter quickly. Trump card writes in, must be some fake Trump supporters, or they have a hard time understanding the word all. Ronnie Mercer says, why were the police ordered to stand down? Sounds to me like the powers that be wanted a violent confrontation. Just looking to get you some more commentary here. We'd love to hear more from what you, if you have further thoughts on what you thought of President Trump's statement, write to me at @Lookner on Twitter, at LOOKNER. Sorry, I was just looking to get some reaction to what President Trump said. It's a little hard because I'm on Twitter going through different reaction, and they're giving me I'm trying to get people who you would have heard of, and I'm getting a lot of people who just random people. Not that they're not important, but I was trying to show you some people you would have heard of, what they would have said about this. So we'll see what happens. I'm interested in watching today, seeing the media. I think a number of you say that the media is just going to be still critical of President Trump after the statement today. We'll have to see what happens. Oh, here's one. This is from Tom Perez, who isn't he the head of the Democratic DNC, I believe. I can, yeah, he's the chair of the Democratic Party. So I'm guessing you know that Tom Perez's tweet will be negative. Tom Perez says, history won't forget that when the streets of Charlottesville echoed with evil, Donald Trump responded with silence. So I think we knew that Tom Perez would say something negative about President Trump's statement today. Well, we didn't know for sure, but I'm not surprised. Joey MP writes, his statement isn't to appease the left or the media, it's to appease the independents who are an integral part of his win in the election. Interesting theory, Joey. See, you say he just wants to, not lose the independents, and maybe more, moderate members of Congress to help him in the coming legislative battles, maybe. What did he say? He says, was there a mention of Antifa at least? I didn't get to see it. No, there was no mention of Antifa or other left groups. The specific groups mentioned, he condemned all, if I remember right, all groups that promote violence, but he specifically only said neo-Nazis, KKK, and white supremacists. Linda House says, video from Baked Alaska and Faith Goldie, the Justice Department will expose BLM and Antifa. Mainstream media is irrelevant. Let's see here. P-Cell says, the short speech was good, although I do not think he needed to make another speech. He already made a good statement when this happened on Saturday. As for those complaining that he didn't call out the left groups, I disagree. He called out all hate groups. I think he did the right thing. Listen, people, we know BLM was there and the other left hate groups causing problem. Until the FBI comes out and names other hate groups, it was good he didn't mention others specifically by name. Now listen to this carefully, Steve, and all RSBN family. Steve, you and RSBN are getting popular, which is a good thing, but the more you get popular, the more other people will be watching, including the left. And these people are very organized on the web, so I bet you most of those negative comments you are reading is not at all from true Trump supporters. This is what they do. They flood the polls, and now they're flooding RSBN with negative comments, pretending to be Trump supporters. This is not about calling names. It is about letting justice take its course. Good job, President Trump. That is from P-Cell. Thanks, P-Cell, for writing in. Terry McAuliffe, Thomas in New Jersey says, Terry McAuliffe, the governor of New Jersey, just posted a tweet. So let me get that up for you. Actually, I don't see it. I'm looking for it. Oh, I'm sorry. That was yesterday. That wasn't. There's a tweet, but it's from yesterday. I thought you were saying he just posted a tweet. I was confused. My bad. He did tweet out yesterday, Terry McAuliffe, at every level, elected officials in America must denounce white supremacy, Nazism, and any rhetoric that empowers those who seek to divide us. J-Man Truthseeker just gave $2, says, thank you, Steve. Thank you, RSBN. You're welcome, J-Man Truthseeker. We appreciate the donation because your donations keep us on the air. We're viewer supported. If you'd like to have us be on the air and want to help with a donation, go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate, or go to the YouTube chat room next to the broadcast. Go to the bottom of the chat. There's a $sign there. You can click on the $sign and donate that way. Or if you want to get free stuff like this RSBN mug, you can go to our Patreon page where we give you stuff in exchange for making a monthly donation. Our Patreon page is www.patreon.com/RSBN. We're going to stay on the air a little while longer here. If you have feedback about the president's speech, any comments on it, write to me at @Lookner on Twitter. America First says calling them out would only escalate things. Hopefully he arrests them, though. Linda House writes, Trump is saying exactly what he should at each day of the investigation. Obama sought to incite, Trump seeks to mend. I've heard some people say that view. Some people think that President Trump did a uniting thing on Saturday by not calling out specific groups. I'm just checking to see for any more feedback about the speech. Miss Nane 5 says, again, if left are too ignorant to understand an inclusive statement, the president may have to spell it out with video and pics. Thank you again to the moderators in the chat room for moderating the chat. We got Pam C in there, Guinevere, JC. Who else has been in there today? Jude. And maybe there were others before. Lynn Jean. Apologize if I missed anyone. Ella Bell Wilson says, it looks like liberal trolls are on here, but I still feel if some hate groups get called out, then all of them should get called out. Okay, I think at this point, we're going to wrap in like a minute or two. We're going to wrap up the stream. So if you have comments you want read on the air, get them in soon. @Lookner on Twitter. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter if you want breaking news updates. I post a lot of them @Lookner, and follow Rightside Broadcasting @RSB Network. Jeff Martinil writes in, Trump is getting railroaded by the left. The left will always be evil. Ronnie Mercer writes in, what's really going on here is the left will never accept the Trump presidency. 2 weeks of riots after November 8th, bribing electors, etc. By the way, Sharin writes, Obama's did all this escalated racial division. Anyone remember being asked what color of skin you want when born? Your color is not your fault. A little piece of news here, a little President Trump news coming from Fox News, if I can show you that while we're on the air. Can I find it? Give me 1 sec, folks. I'll pull this up for you. It says, Trump seriously considering a pardon for Sheriff Joe Arpaio. That is from Fox News. Zeke Miller tweeted it, but it's from Fox News. So a little news about President Trump, besides the statement. Teresa says, yes, Saturday speech uniting, this one dividing. By not specifically mentioning Antifa/BLM, they don't think they're included in all. We have a few messages here. Sam Lund says, keep up the good work, Steve Maga. Thank you so much, Sam. Appreciate it. Thomas in New Jersey says, Trump has condemned these groups before the media and the left. Trump has condemned these groups before. The media and the left are the only ones who have a problem with his statement. Miss Apropos says, I believe President Trump not mentioning Antifa and BLM will only embolden them at the next pro-Trump event. They will not be held accountable for their actions and will ramp up the violent behavior. Mark my words. Also, by the way, it is now 1:28. It's 1:28 Eastern time, and let me get the right time for you here. At 2 p.m., or is it 3 p.m.? It might be 3 p.m. Eastern. I'll get you the exact time. At 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, President Trump will be signing a memorandum addressing China's intellectual property laws. I'm guessing he might have something to say about that as well. I'm sorry. What I meant to say is he'll be making a statement, I would assume, there as well. So we are going to be covering that live. That's at 3 p.m. Eastern, so that's in an hour and a half. And you can find that on our YouTube page. I am looking at it right now at upcoming shows and events. So if you go to our YouTube page and go to upcoming shows and events, you can see we've already posted the event. President Trump will be signing a memorandum addressing China's intellectual property laws. And, you know, I think the general idea of that is going to be that President Trump is upset, the administration is upset with China stealing intellectual property, American intellectual property, and they're going to maybe, I've heard they might look into it in preparation for maybe having some sanctions on them. So we'll have that at 3 p.m. Eastern, so watch that here at Right Side Broadcasting. Teresa says DOJ won't look at the videos of baked Alaska, etc. They didn't even speak to men that were in Benghazi. Going to listen to vids? All right, I'm going to wrap this up here. For now, we're going to be back at 3 covering President Trump's signing of that memorandum about Chinese intellectual property laws. Thank you for joining us for this coverage of President Trump's statement. Thank you for all of your comments that you wrote in and that we read on the air. Thank you to the moderators for moderating the chat room, as usual, doing a great job. Thank you to Joe for an amazing job producing and getting this on the air so fast. And thank all of you for watching and your donations, those of you who donated. We use your donations to stay on the air. We are viewer supported. If you want to support us at Right Side Broadcasting, rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Click the notifications bell. Follow us and like us on Facebook, Right Side Broadcasting. Follow us on Twitter at RSB Network. I am on Twitter at Lookner. You can follow me there. And that's going to be it for now. Okay, so we will be back in a little bit at 3 p.m. Eastern with another President Trump event for you. But for now, have a good day, and we will see you soon from Right Side Broadcasting.